Hey guys, I'm John Setzler and welcome back to Atlanta Grill Company. Today we're going to kick off our Sauce of the Month project with a cook featuring the Atlanta Grill Company sweet sauce, and I'm going to go ahead and couple that with the Georgia Butts and Ribs rub. That's the rub of the month this month as well. I've got this big fat 5-pound rack of baby back ribs that we're going to give the royal treatment with this sauce and rub, and we're going to get it on the Kamado Joe. So let's get started. Okay guys, I've gone ahead and taken my rib rack out of the refrigerator, and I've gone ahead and pulled the membrane off of that guy. We've got a whole bunch of meat here on this rack. This is a 5¼ pound rack of baby backs. So what I'm going to do to start with is we're going to hit this guy liberally with the Atlanta Grill Company Georgia Butts and Ribs. I'm going to get a nice coat on the back side. I'm not using any binders, and I'm going to let that sit here for just a few minutes before we flip it. After that rub's had just a couple of minutes to bind itself on there, I'm going to flip this guy and we're going to hit the top side the same way, and I'm going to get a nice thick coat of this rub on here. And we're going to let that sit here and bind for just a couple of more minutes while our grill comes up to temperature. I've got my Classic 3 running with the Fireboard Pro here. About 10 degrees over where I set it at the moment. I set it at 225 and it hasn't settled in yet, but it's time to put these ribs on. Okay, I've got this grill rolling with the slow roller, and I've got a really nice, fine blue cherry smoke running there. So we're going to lay this rack of ribs right here in the middle of this grill. And like I said, this is a really big rack of baby backs. So we're going to set it right there in the middle, and we're going to let the first stage of this cook go for about 2 hours before we come back. We've been going right at 2.5 hours here, and I believe I'm pretty happy with how these look. So I'm going to yank these guys off. We're going to get them in some foil and then get them back on the grill. And due to the size of this rack and how big it is, I'm probably going to let it go here for an hour and 15 minutes or so in the foil, or maybe even probably an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. That'll take us up to about the 3.5 hour mark, because sometimes these big fat racks of baby backs that I buy, they take 4.5 to 5 hours. They take a little longer than a typical small rack, so we'll be back shortly. Okay folks, I've been going about an hour and a half here in the foil, and I just checked on these guys, and I think I'm happy with what I've got here. I'm going to flip this guy over. I put that back on the grill meat side down, and let me get the foil out from under here. And we'll get these guys right back down here on the grill. And I kind of like the way those things are glowing in the sun there. The next step, what we're going to do is we're going to finish these guys off, and it's going to be another hour to an hour and a half probably with these. I'm not sure exactly. We're going to check them as we go, but here is where I'm going to bring the Atlanta Grill Company sweet sauce into the picture. We're going to glaze the top of these guys with some of this sweet sauce, and I'm just going to pour a nice bead of it right across there, and then get my basting brush, and we're going to spread that out evenly across the surface of these ribs, and we're going to let that kind of caramelize and thicken on top of these ribs. And we're going to come back and give them some more close to the time they're finished. But you can kind of see here how the color comes alive on this rack of ribs with that beautiful sweet sauce. So let me get this guy closed back up, and we'll be back soon to see what they're like when they're done. Okay, we've been going close to long enough for these guys to be done, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. I'm going to leave these guys on a little bit longer. Let them get good and tender. You know, we can't always cook by time. So what I'm going to do is hit these guys with a little bit more of our Atlanta Grill Company sweet sauce and give it another flavor layer of that with my basting brush here. And just at a guess here, I'm guessing I might be 30 or 45 minutes out on getting these guys done. But man, I wish you could smell this. So we will be back shortly. Okay folks, this rack of baby backs is officially the longest cooking rack I think I've ever cooked. We've been on here for 6 hours with this rack at 225, which is normally where I am with pork spare ribs. So I'm going to pull these off and we're going to let them rest for just a few minutes, and I'm going to slice these up and we're going to have a closer look. Okay guys, I have taken the liberty of cutting some of these apart, and let me just pull one of those up there and let you get a little bit closer look at that. That's amazing. And like I said, these are some of the meatiest baby backs I've had my entire life, and I'm just going to take a bite of one of these. Dadgum, that is incredible. That Georgia butts and ribs rub, coupled with that Atlanta Grill Company sweet barbecue sauce, has made a rib here that's the epitome of sticky sweet southern barbecue. So guys, give this a try. Let me know what you think. Until next time, this is John Setzel with Atlanta Grill Company.